This is Corey Bear from Zaptoid.me, and this is my guide to taking a level 12 Historic City in Evony Age 2. I played Evony for about a year and a half, and I made a video on how to take a level 12 for my alliance to use. Even though I stopped playing, sometimes people ask me for it, so I decided to redo it. When I did this video, I was kind of sick, and I realized that I talk to myself a lot, and that comes off as slightly crazy, so I just cleaned it up a little bit and decided to officially repost it. As you can see, I'm 1 mile from the historic city that I'm taking. The closer that you are, the easier it's going to be because of travel time. Some people say to take horseback off of your heroes, but I really don't think that's necessary just because I only used 2 of them for the main breaking waves and the rest were just loyalty and spam. Keep in mind that my heroes were around 700 attack, and if yours are less than that, you might actually have to make it up with an extra wave. You have time though, so just play it safe and just see how the first few waves go. You don't need to send that extra one out unless you have the extra troops. You won't want to do it with less than a 400 attack hero because until the defending king or queen is around 400, you want to make sure that your attack is higher than their defense. Don't forget to go into your medic camp and cut off your auto heal. It's going to save you a decent amount of gold because healing, using the auto heal uses more than just being able to go in there and heal. Just as long as you remember to go in there, then you won't have any problems with losing troops due to time. Now I'm going to set up my waves under the presets to make everything run smoother and there's less for me to have to pay attention to. I'm setting up 1 for my breaking waves, 1 for my loyalty waves, and 1 for my clearing waves. These are my clearing waves as the first setting. I generally do small layers and I usually start with about 3,000 archers. That may change, give or take, depending on how the clearing waves go. I'm setting up my second setting as my breaking wave. Once again, I'm using small layers and the rest will just be archers. I'm going to set my third settings as my loyalty waves. The amount of archers that you're going to need really depends on how tough your heroes are. I generally just use the rest of the archers that I have, but I set it up at 25,000 just because it's a good number to start with. And once again, I'm going to layer them with just small layers. You want to make sure that your lowest attack hero is no less than 200 attack just to be safe, especially with the loyalty waves. Just go back in and check your heroes, do any upgrades that you can do, and just make sure that you have everything in there because one mistake can mess you up pretty badly. This is a sword cav ram spawn. This spawn is a favorite of mine because I like to get rid of the archers first, and the difference between a sword spawn and a pike spawn is that in a pike spawn you have to get rid of the pikes first, and in a sword spawn you have to get rid of the archers first. It all has to do with speed and movement of each troop. To become a good Evony player, you will want to know and utilize that. When it comes down to troop loss, they're both about the same. So our clearing waves. There's a question about whether or not clearing waves are necessary because you're going to hit traps anyway, just because of respawn rate. But I do it mostly because it's how I learned how to do it, and I know it works, and I have a really hard time handling change. Like, start spiraling into a mentally incapacitated state, and it's not pretty, so I just go ahead and do it. You're gonna want to be sure to send a scout out every few minutes just to check where the walls are at. Be sure you're scouting and not attacking because sometimes I would scout bomb a 12 and unfortunately that's just not as effective as I want it to be. As you see here, the calves are down to 87,000. We want them to be down about 50,000. You need to make sure your first archer wave can one-shot all of the cav. I also like to be able to get my traps and rolling logs to be down below 1,000. Sometimes my clearing waves don't do as well as I want or it's taking too long, and I'll just go ahead and up my archers for the last few waves just to make it go a little bit faster. Now we're at a good number. Caps are down to 32,000, traps are down to 1,000, and we will go ahead and send in our main breaking wave. I do like to send in trap clearing waves while my breaking wave marches, mostly because I get really bored. Pretty sure they don't do anything but waste my troops. The reason I'm not sending my second attack out is because I'm waiting to see if I kill the archers. If I do kill them, I won't need to send in a naked arch wave. If I don't, then I will. This is something that's very important and you're going to want to make sure that you pay attention to. And it's only for a sword spawn. As you can see, I didn't kill the archers, so I'm going to go ahead and send a naked arch wave. The reason behind this is because it ensures archer trade fire in a sword spawn, which is what you want to accomplish really in any situation, even in PvP. Alright, so my naked arch wave hit, and it killed the archers and the swords and a decent amount of warriors. It's actually kind of a beastly hit, and I'm pretty proud of myself. If I could figure out out how to use this effing software, I'd make you stare at it a little bit longer. Lucky for you, I'm too lazy to Google it and I want to go to bed. One more hit and it should be broken, and we will know if it's broken when we get a return wave. I'm gonna go ahead and heal and send out my loyalty waves. The only reason I'm doing this is because I know for a fact that this last wave is gonna break it. I just want to kind of get a head start on killing off that respawn so it doesn't get too high. Alright, so we've got a return. Not too bad, only a 4K archer loss, and I got some cool stuff, like a speaker, Def Totier, oh my god. So this is how to break a 12. After you break it, you're good. All you need to do is send the loyalty waves and you're good to go. A few things to remember. For this particular 12, it's not that big of a deal. As you can see, I'm surrounded by blues or nothing at all. But if you do have a 12 with multiple red flags, you might want to keep checking loyalty as it goes down, especially if you just ported in. Make sure it just doesn't go down in a regular manner. It usually starts off by decreasing by 3 in the beginning, and then it goes down to decreasing by 2. I rarely ever run into a problem with 12s because there's so many, but it's definitely something to remember with a higher level Historic City. Don't forget to heal after it's done. It can be easy to forget about the fodder, but you don't want to lose those troops. This is a numbers game and all numbers matter. When sending loyalty waves, you will want to make the layers large enough to block twice, meaning block to kill the sword pike respawn and then the cav respawn. So if you start running out of troops, you do have the option to get real nasty with the creativity of your layers. When you first cap an NPC 12, it has nothing in it, just empty level 10 walls, a level 10 town hall, and a resource field with one level 12 of each resource type. You can get your resource fields up to level 12, but you will have to use a mic script for each level above 9. It's not really worth it to me because I try to keep 5 or so cottages in my city just for the extra barracks, and I barely ever have enough population for a full lumber field, much less a cracked out field of 12s. One of the first things you'll want to do is get your range up by putting 10 traps, 10 bodice, and then put up as many archer towers as possible in your 24-hour cooldown time when nobody can attack you. You'll also want to get your academy up as much as possible. 6 is the minimum you'll want to do so that in case you're reinforced or you send your troops there, you will have medicine available, as well as everything below that. Get your embassy and workshop up a few levels and your beacon tower up to level 1 so you can at least flash if you're being attacked. Everything else is really up to you, but those are the main things that you do want to make sure that you have in there. And that's what it looks like to take a level 12 with your name all popping up and whatnot. Cross your fingers that nobody rolls something cool on the Wheel of Misery and your few seconds of glory are robbed from you. Your new coordinates do pop up, but there's so many level 12s hanging around that it usually doesn't matter. It's the 14s and the 16s that do, and I'll talk about those in a later video. Thanks for watching. I'll be posting the transcription to this video soon because I know some people, like myself, hate watching videos and would rather just find the parts they need, and to allow you to have something a little more convenient to reference. This is Gory Bear from Zaptoid.me. If you have any other questions, suggestions, or comments, feel free to submit them through the site, or you can email me. This is a really fun game for me to learn to play and to learn the ins and outs of, so I definitely would be more than happy to help out anybody who wants to learn the battle mechanics, and I actually might have some notes written down some here which is kind of nerdy, so we won't dwell on it. Alright, so you guys have a wonderful day.